thanks for joining me on day 2 of Bob's knife build. If you've seen the previous episode, you'd have seen that I was bringing it up to the point where we're preparing it for heat treat. Now, almost at that stage, I just want to check to make sure they're absolutely square, absolutely flat, because sometimes, even when you get your tool steel direct from the supplier, the tool steel can be a little bit bent, you know, not quite perfect. So obviously any knives that you produce from that are going to have a slight warp in them. Also, the manufacturing processes up to now can impart a slight warp, especially when you're stamping your logos, drilling. So important to get that sort of straightened out now, I think. There is a window of opportunity afterwards, after heat treat, after the hardening process, when you can tweak a blade. But I don't do that. I know it's possible to be done, but it's a bit of a risky business, and you could be imparting stress fractures into the steel, I think. So I do it now whilst the steel's in its annealed, softened state. So for that I use my Norton No. 2 fly press, which exerts a nice steady, even pressure. So any blades that are slightly out, I can just bring them back in very, very gently. So I'm going to do that now. Well guys, this is the Norton No. 2. It's quite an old, probably dates from the 1950s, and with this, you probably can't see it, it's slightly out of shot. I'm using my stills camera to do this at the moment. It's not very good. I've just ordered a new video camera and that should be arriving later on today. But I need to get working now, so I'm using my old Fuji camera. There's normally a cannonball weight which goes on this side here, and you can swing it with some force, and that will exert 2 tons of pressure. But for what I'm going to do here, I don't want nowhere near 2 tons of pressure, just a few pounds of pressure really. I've got a blade here which is very, ever so slightly, it is hardly anything, just a very slight warp in that there. I can just see where it is. I'm just going to tweak that back with very gentle, even pressure. Literally just very even pressure like that. When the steel's in its softened state, it really moves quite easy, and that is absolutely perfect now. I don't know if you can see that. I can't see what you're seeing because this is just a conventional camera. Yeah, line it up. That is as good as it gets. Right, it's on to the kiln now. I'm happy with these. Another thing to look for if you're doing batches of knives like I do, 5 at a time, if you lay them all on top of one another, and they should all be sort of flat like that really. If you've got any that are slightly warped or bent, you'll see daylight. So they're all good. Well, here we are in the heat treat now. I'm just cleaning off all the blades with acetone, just to make sure I've got no deposits of oil or whatever on the blades, because I think it's just good to get the blades into the heat treat as clean as you can get them. That way hopefully they'll come out cleaner after heat treat and require less tidying up. This process does blacken them a little bit. Well, that's it, they're all degreased and cleaned up now, so I'm going to load the kiln up. I put the bevels uppermost so they sit in the hottest part of the kiln. This is a specialist kiln, specially designed for knife making. Now Bob, there's your one, look. There's the Bob there marked on, look, and that's going to go in the middle part of the kiln. So that's the kiln. Just put the last one in. That's the kiln loaded up. And we'll close that up, and we'll run a heat treat cycle. The kiln's just going through its setup procedure now. And just waiting for it to set itself up. There we go, so I'm going to select the first option, which is program 1. I'm going to ramp the kiln on a full ramp. And we're, there we are, what's the time? Just 10:15, we're at 136, 139, 140 centigrade and climbing. Well, here we are now, T plus what, 6 minutes, 7 minutes, and we're up to 297. Just going to climb up through 300 centigrade now. There we are. There we are, just climbing up through 400 now. And the time is, come on camera, focus. I hope my new camera arrives soon. 25 past. Well, we're climbing up to 500 now, nearly half past. And at 500 the kiln will hold. It'll stop climbing, it might just overshoot a little bit, but it will hold. There we go, and it's going to tell me that it's going to hover around about 500 for 10 minutes. Just clicked off now. And that'll just hold plus or minus that temperature for 10 minutes. Just let the blades inside soak at that temperature. It's called a preheat. And after 10 minutes, the kiln will then ramp back up again. Well guys, the preheat has been going on now for 10 minutes. We're down to the last minute. We've got 10 seconds of this last minute to run. And it's been hovering around about 500, dipping down to 495 and up to 505. And you should see that change in a minute. They've gone down to 0 now. And then the clicking has stopped, the relays have stopped chattering, so now it's on to the climb up to the final target of 805. 498, 499. Steady power being applied to the elements inside the kiln now. So onward and upward. We're approaching, what's the time now? We're looking at nearly 11:15 and 600 centigrade. Just gone through 700 now, and it's 10 to 11. Hey guys, whilst the kiln's going up, my new camera's arrived. I think it's arrived anyway. I ordered it from Amazon. This is the an oaken Scout that I built. Beautiful little knife. This should be my new camcorder. Oh, there, cut away. Someone left a comment saying, "Don't cut towards yourself." Right, my new camcorder should be in here. Yes, there it is, folks. I've got a 32 gig hard drive, and there's a new camcorder. But I don't know if I'll be able. Well, obviously, I'm going to be filming the heat treat on the camera that I'm using at the moment. I need to get this one charged up, but I'll try and use that one from the rest of the filming that I do today. Where are we? We're up to 737 centigrade now. Right guys, we're just approaching our target now. It's come up to 11 o'clock. We've approached our target of 105, which the kiln should start. There we go. It's going to hold there at that temperature for 30 minutes, but I'm just going to leave them in now to soak for 10 minutes, and that just evenly heats and soaks the blades through at that temperature, and then they'll be quenched one at a time. Right guys, they're ready to come out now. They've been preheating for 8-9 minutes now. One at a time. There's the oil. So I'm just going to go for a bit of a dry run, make sure I'm going to get it right. So I'm going to bring them out like that, and then boom. I'm just going to just orientate that so that I got a bit direct angle for me to dip them into the oil. That way, bang. That's it. I'll bring yours out first, Jezza. Here we go. Oh yeah, lovely. If you still get smoke coming off, it means it's too hot to come out of the oil. They've got to stay in the oil so there's no more smoke coming off of them. That's right about now. Let's give it a bit longer for look. And there's your knife, Jeremy, in the hardened state. Let's get the others out. Right guys, it's on to the tempering whilst they're still warm, literally. Straight into tempering now. Bob, I've cleaned up your knife, still a bit on the hot side. A little bit, I cleaned it up a little bit. What can you see? The other camera's charging up now, I'll be using it soon. I cleaned it up a little bit, you can just about see, can you see that? The bob there. See it? So I just cleaned it up a little bit, very roughly at the moment, just so you'll be able to see the colours it goes to during the tempering process. This is a bit long-winded, this is going to go on for about 2–2.5 hours now. So we're onwards with that now. Well, they're in there tempering nicely now. Put the timer on for an hour. I'm going to take them up to about 235–240 centigrade for a 58/59 Rockwell. Hi guys, I'm on the new camera now. Brilliant. That was what I was doing the filming on previously. The first part of this this video that I was doing. But my old camera unfortunately died, and I had it for about 2 years, and this was what I was using, Samsung. The problem with it is the screen's gone, and that's all I'm getting, which is a shame because a really good camera, and I like this camera, but the optical image stabilizer isn't as good as it is in the camera I've got there. So you better have a look at the camera I got there. It looks something like this. Whilst your blades are tempering there, Bob, I'm going to prepare your scales. that now. Look. Well, in this little corner of my my home, Jack Law is expanding into the home I hasten to add. So I've taken over a corner of the conservatory. This is where I do all my gluing up and dyeing. It's a messy business, so I do it on this old bit of spare worktop here. And I use a piece of linishing belt, 120 grit. Got this idea from Dal from Dirty Room Knives. Basically just get the surface in one way, move to a fresh bit of belt, clear it the other way. That gives me a cross hatch. Same to the other one. And go the other way as well. And then do the same with the fibre liners. New bit of belt. Mind you, this is a zirconium belt, so it's not as though I'm taking the edge off the grip with it. I'll do that to the other one, and then I'll get back to you. Right, the next stage is acetone nail varnish remover. Quite strong stuff, this. And other stuff. Clean the wood up, move to a fresh bit of paper. I learnt a lot off of old Dal from Dirty Room Knives. He's got a great channel. Very instructional videos, some of your videos are, Dal, if you're watching. Thanks for posting them. So I'll hold the fibre liner by the very edge so that I don't get any muck from the hands. And I'm always using a new clean bit of cloth as well. So that's keyed up and degreased at that stage. Next is to mix the epoxy. Now I like this stuff. This I use Evo stick control. It gives you a 2-hour working time, but it takes a good 24 hours to really set up. So it's a slow setting epoxy. I've used various other epoxies, but I just got a good lot of faith in this because I've never had any problems with it. It's always set for me and it's worked well for me. So I stick with it, pardon the pun rather. But what you have got to do is give it a thorough mixing, and it really needs a good continual mixing for at least 45 seconds. So if you don't mix it for 45 seconds, you're not getting it thoroughly mixed. So anyway, I'm going to mix it now, so you don't want to see that. It's a bit of a boring operation. I'll turn the camera off. got a bit of aluminium angle bar here, nice and flat on the bottom, and that's baking paper. Again, Dale showed this on his channel. Brilliant idea, because what happens, the epoxy doesn't stick to it. So all I got to do is just position my scales, give them a bit of a wobble to get the glue to be equally distributed, and then clamp. Very carefully.
Is that my camera?
No, that's mine. I've got my own camera now.
Well, it's exactly the same as
I know. So that's one done. My daughter's got the same camera, so I've put some indelible ink on mine so that I know whose camera's whose.
What's the ink?
On there, look, see.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Say hello to my viewers.
Hello. There you go.
Just finished work.
Yeah.
How did it go?
Same.
Oh, and what happened there? It just made a noise.
That was my phone.
What was it?
Yeah. Always makes that noise.
So that's it. They will now stay like that for 24 hours. Oh. I don't know how much of that you saw actually. There you go, they're all clamped up now, look. And they'll stay like that for 24 hours. I know these clamps look different sizes, bigger ones and some little ones, and someone's going to pick up on that, they always do. But they are all roughly the same clamping pressure. I can't feel no difference on my skin anyway, and it makes absolutely no difference to the end results of the fibre liners being glued on. Finally, the second temper cycle is finished, so they can now come out. Ooh, nice and warm, nice and toasty. Right, I'll show you. I'll take you off the tripod, and then I'll carefully bring you over here. We're looking for a golden colour. Let's go out into the light. There we are, look. Can you see that nice? There's the bob, look. And there's a nice golden colour. Which tells me the heat treat is bang on.